Hey guys, welcome back to my first review of Captain Marvel. This is going to be the no spoiler review. I'm going to be posting a video on post-credit scenes either tomorrow or the day after, and then I'm going to be posting my full spoiler review Easter eggs video either Friday or Saturday, so stay tuned for those. But for the time being, this is a no spoiler review. Now this review as well is gonna poke a lot of holes in all those bad reviews of the movie, because I did start off thinking that this movie is gonna be terrible. I mean, for a moment there, I was prepared for the worst going into this movie, going in to watch it, and I was like, okay, maybe, just maybe, these people were actually professional, they didn't make this personal, and they didn't try to review this movie badly just because they have a problem with the starlet of the movie. But I'm going to get into all of that. I'm going to talk about the post-credit scenes. I'm not going to mention the details of set scenes because I'm going to be doing that on another video. Don't want to spoil anyone at this moment, but I'm going to be talking about them in general. Nothing that I say on this video hasn't already been made clear, but actually some of it has been made clear before the release of the movie. So yeah, in the spirit of not wasting any more time and all of that good stuff, let's get started with number 1. Let's start off with Stan Lee. When it comes to tributes, when it comes to thank you messages, and when it comes to cameos, when it comes to the whole 9 yards really, Captain Marvel is going to give you the fix that you need. When Stan Lee passed away, I was really saddened. I mean, he never really added to a movie as much as this comedic scene, but nonetheless, I was like, how are we ever going to watch a Marvel movie without this guy being part of it? But I'm pretty certain, I'm pretty sure we're always going to feel the guy's presence, if not through a cameo, if not through a tribute. At the very least, it's going to be through his writing, through the characters that he's created for the comics over so many years of his amazing life. Now, while we've all expected a tribute to Stan Lee on this movie, and probably on Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home as well, you are just going to love this one. I mean, it was unexpected, it was amazing, the way it was done, you're going to love it. That's all I'm going to say for now. But moving on to number 2, with all the alleged leaks out there, I tried my best to stay clear out of reading anything over the past couple of weeks when it comes to Captain Marvel. And the truth is, I did check out these leaks when I got home today, and the truth is, some of it is exactly what goes down in the movie. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, I'd advise you to stay away from that, because some of that is actually the details from inside the movie, the exact details. But nonetheless though, I went in expecting a story. The story was kind of different than what I expected. However though, the details are quite the same, but to a different aim, to a different goal. But speaking of the expectations that I had and things that I found out when I watched the movie, number 3, now whatever I'm going to say over here doesn't necessarily mean that the movie was bad, because yeah, you might expect something, find something else, but in the end you might actually like what you see. I ended up liking what I saw over there, so I don't really have a problem with this, but I'm assuming over here that a lot of you, just like me, did expect certain characters are going to be front and center throughout this movie, all over the place. However though, the movie truly focuses on like 5 or 6 characters. Everyone else takes a backseat for the majority of the movie. They do show up, their presence kind of entertains us, their presence as well kind of promises future arcs for Captain Marvel, but nonetheless, most of them kind of take a backseat over here. So your major characters over here happen to be Carol Danvers, Nick Fury, Talos, Yon-Rogg, and the Supreme Intelligence. I think Maria Rambeau as well does play a certain role in this movie that is very critical to the movie, that's very important. But nonetheless, everyone else kind of takes a back seat at a certain point in the movie. I mean, consider this, it's a 2-hour movie compared to Avengers Infinity War, which was decently longer. And it is supposed to be an origin story for the title character, it is supposed to be as well an origin story of sorts when it comes to Nick Fury, and that's what we get over here. We get number 4, everything that we've been promised. We get to find out, for example, how Nick Fury lost his eye. And do you remember how no one kind of expected where the Soul Stone is gonna be on Avengers Infinity War? That's exactly what you get out of Captain Marvel. You will never expect how Nick Fury ended up losing his eye. But number 5, as expected as well, we do get the origin of the pager, how Nick Fury had his hand on this pager that he uses at the end of Infinity War to contact Carol Danvers. Number 6, and this one is for all those Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans out there. It was really amazing getting to see Agent Coulson in the field on the movies. It was also pretty good seeing S.H.I.E.L.D. functional. I mean, this is in the 90s, it's in the past, so it makes sense that S.H.I.E.L.D. is functional, but nonetheless, it was really good. I mean, the name S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't been in the movies for so long now. It was quite refreshing. But number 7 though, all the graphic effects, the CG, that was really good, really well done. Loved how the Skrulls looked. I mean, I've seen them on the trailers, but seeing them on the trailers is one thing, seeing them in the movies is something completely different. I mean, they are really well done. I might have had a little bit of a problem with the CG for Captain Marvel because it's a little bit cartoonish. I mean, the effect itself is not bad. The problem is I've always found that glow, since watching the trailers, to be a little bit blinding. Like, it's also too much for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Doesn't fit with the overall theme. But hopefully that's something they could kind of rectify in the future. They could kind of change it, so that's not really the biggest problem. Number 8. The acting for this movie was really great. Everyone did a great job. Samuel Jackson would be on the top of that list, but nonetheless, everyone did a pretty good job. Even Brie Larson, and even if you kind of hate her and have a personal problem with her because of whatever she said, that in my opinion doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're evaluating the movie for the sake of the movie, her acting for the sake of her acting, and not taking personal bias into consideration, like a lot of people have already done with the IMDb page for Captain Marvel, giving it shit reviews and shit ratings, the very same way some people did when Black Panther released, hitting it with shit reviews and shit ratings on the first day, until those who actually cared about the movie, cared about the story of the movie, what it aimed at presenting, and what it did present, came back home from the theaters and gave it the kind of reviews that it deserved back then. Just like this movie deserves to get better, way better than a 5.6 rating out of 10 on IMDb. That brings us to number 9, what's my rating of this movie? Well, before I talk rating, let's talk where this movie for me is located on the continuum. So pretty much it's no Captain America Winter Soldier, it's no Black Panther, it's no Avengers Infinity War, it's definitely no Avengers Assemble either, and it is definitely no Iron Man 1 either. But on the other hand, it's definitely way incredible than Iron Man 3, it's way better than The Incredible Hulk, it's way better than Thor 2 and 3. So whatever people rated Thor The Dark World with on IMDb, they're supposed to be rating this one way better. I mean, Thor kind of scored 7 out of 10, so Captain Marvel over here should score like 7.5 out of 10, but definitely not less than that. But number 10, not going to go into a lot of detail over this one, but there was one pre-credit scene and 2 post-credit scenes. Yes, I consider the final scene of the movie a pre-credit scene, and it was amazing. Now once again, and without going into further detail, all 3 scenes kind of lead into different movies. They don't just lead into one movie, they do lead into different movies, some of which we've already watched, so you're going to be pleasantly surprised. It's not just an origin story for Captain Marvel, it's also an origin story for Nick Fury, so it all kind of leads into other things that we've seen Nick Fury do over the years, over the past decade. So I'm not just talking future movies over here, I'm talking both future movies as well as movies down the road on the timeline, movies that we've already got to watch over the past 10 years. But number 11, let's start addressing all the rumors out there. So rumor number 1, Kevin Feige kind of shot other scenes when it comes to Endgame that would exclude Captain Marvel, because every single person who's watched Captain Marvel over the past couple of weeks said it's kind of terrible. Stated that the best thing on the movie was the cat, the Flerken, and that the Flerken kind of stole the show. But the truth is, while Goose the cat, the Flerken was really good to watch, really amazing to watch, and was really fun at times as well, he most definitely did not steal the show. He was front and center at a certain point, but not throughout the movie. And if anyone did steal the show, it was definitely Carol Danvers and Nick Fury. The two of them have a lot of chemistry, they work together so well, and the 2 characters kind of cracked me up a lot throughout this movie. However though, circling back to that rumor that Kevin Feige kind of ordered the refilming of certain scenes without Captain Marvel for the purpose of Endgame in order to exclude her in case the movie tanks. Now first of all, this is a rumor meant to make this movie tank. Like, don't worry about it, this movie is ruined, Captain Marvel is going to be removed out of the other movie. I might have been willing to buy into all the stuff about the movie being bad, like possibly they could make a bad movie. We trust in Marvel Studios, but there is always the possibility that one apple does go bad. But there are many possible ways to rectify that. Like, Brie Larson is not really a bad actress. She's an Oscar winner for a movie that I did like, I did watch it and I did like it, and while I might have thought the movie was not Oscar worthy, her performance was not Oscar worthy, I definitely gave both her performance and the movie an 8 out of 10. Brie Larson was also noticeable way before that. I did first notice this actress named Brie Larson when I watched 21 Jump Street. So she's not really the bad actress. So if there were to be any problems with this movie, it would be about the writing, would be about the story, and hence there's no real problem with Brie Larson portraying the role of Captain Marvel. So I don't think Kevin Feige would do that. If the story of Endgame is solid, he would never do that. But anyway though, we've got enough right now to prove that this rumor does not hold any kind of water, including the post-credits scene on Avengers Infinity War. But number 12, and this is the other thing I'm going to address, a certain kind of review, a certain kind of statement that a lot of people made on Twitter, a lot of people made in articles as well that I've read since yesterday, and that statement has many iterations, two of which I do remember off the top of my head, and they are simply Wonder Woman is way better than Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel is no Wonder Woman. Now the truth over here is, while Wonder Woman happens to be one of the better movies within the DCEU, which doesn't have really great movies, it is in my opinion not in any way, shape, or form better than Captain Marvel. Actually, the only movie within the Marvel Cinematic Universe that Wonder Woman could be an improvement over happens to be The Incredible Hulk, and we know that's the worst movie yet within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So no, once again, maybe the best movie in the DCEU, maybe one of the better movies in the DCEU, but definitely not better than Captain Marvel, definitely not better than the majority of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. But that being said though, my work here is done. I believe I haven't spoiled anything over the course of this review. I'm actually certain I did not. But in all cases, if you haven't watched the movie already, let me know in the comments when you're planning to watch it. And if you've watched it, let me know in the comments as well what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. And make sure you're not insensitive, you give people the chance to realize that there's a spoiler in there if you do include a spoiler or dropping a little bit of a spoiler alert. Let me know as well if you did like this video by dropping it a much appreciated like, and if that were to be the case, you can always subscribe and enable notifications for my future videos, community posts, and live streams. But until the next time you tune in for another one of my videos, thank you so much for tuning in to this review, and have a great day.